All right, let's break down one of the most incredible finishes of the Premier League season, Arsenal's absolutely last-gasp win against Everton. This was a victory that was anything but a sure thing, and it went right down to the wire.
You see, when that final whistle blew, it didn't just mean 3 points. It meant Arsenal opened up a massive 10-point lead at the top of the table. In a title race this tight, a gap like that is a huge mental advantage. It was a massive, massive statement.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? For 89 minutes, this match was heading straight for a frustrating 0-0 draw, which for the league leaders would have felt like a defeat. So how on earth did it all turn around in the most dramatic way possible? Let's get into it.
So for almost the entire game, the one-word summary was frustration. For Arsenal and their fans packed into the Emirates, it just felt like one of those days where nothing would go their way against a really stubborn Everton side.
With every minute that ticked by, you could feel the tension just ratcheting up. You could hear these huge groans echoing around the stadium. A real feeling of anxiety as every chance went begging and the clock just kept on ticking. Hope was definitely starting to fade.
And you could see that pressure was getting to the players on the pitch. I mean, here you have a moment from Eberechi Eze, who's usually so slick and creative, and he hesitates, loses the ball, and gives away a cheap free kick. It was a perfect example of how things just weren't clicking for them.
And then, just a minute later, another great opportunity just vanishes. Martinelli, who's normally so precise, finds himself in a brilliant position, but just smashes the cross too hard. At this point, you're really thinking, yep, it's just not going to be their day.
But then, just as all that hope seemed to be slipping away, the clock ticked over to the 90th minute, and in an instant, everything changed. Okay, so here's exactly how it went down. Max Dowman, who was having a fantastic game, whips in this absolutely perfect cross. It floats all the way to Piero Hincapié at the far post, who does an amazing job just to head it back across the goal. And who's there to pounce on it? Victor Gyökeres. He smashes it into the net. The place just went ballistic.
Matt Very, a journalist who was right there in the stadium, immediately called it a huge moment in the title race. He said you could just feel the explosion of noise and pure relief when that ball went in. Incredible.
But hold on, the drama wasn't over, not by a long shot. The goal came on 90 minutes, sure, but there were still 6 minutes of stoppage time to get through. And those final moments, they were absolute chaos.
I mean, just look at this timeline. It was frantic. 3 minutes into added time, Everton's keeper, Jordan Pickford, makes a massive save to keep his team in it. Then, just 2 minutes later, Everton get a corner. And what does Pickford do? He sprints the length of the pitch to get in the box for one last desperate attack. And that decision, well, it set the stage for the grand finale.
With Everton's goal completely empty, Arsenal win the ball and break away. It falls to the man of the moment, Max Dowman, who looks up and just calmly slots it home from way out. The win is sealed. The stadium goes into absolute delirium. What a finish.
So the final score reads 2-0. On paper, that looks like a comfortable win, right? But it was anything but. This was a victory that was forged in pure pressure, desperation, and unbelievable willpower. So when you look back, what was the real difference maker? Well, beyond that incredible team spirit, this game was really defined by one player who put in a truly game-changing performance.
And it wasn't just us who thought so. The player ratings, the match reports, they were all unanimous. Max Dowman, with that crucial assist for the first and then scoring the second himself, was simply described as extraordinary. He basically dragged his team over the finish line.
And you can really feel just how much this moment meant to the fans. As one supporter tweeted, they actually had tears in their eyes. It wasn't just a goal, it was this huge release of 90 minutes of pent-up tension and anxiety.
And that feeling was felt all over the world. Check this out. A fan tweeting at 1 in the morning saying they were wide awake, just buzzing from what they called a game-changing performance. Dowman didn't just win a match. He created a core memory for fans everywhere.
You know, this win was about so much more than just one result. It established that 10-point lead, yeah, but it also gave them this massive psychological boost right before a week that could define their entire season. They've got a huge Champions League decider against Bayer Leverkusen and then the Carabao Cup final against Manchester City. This kind of momentum is just priceless.
And all of this leaves us with one final, tantalizing question. When we look back at the end of the season, are we going to pinpoint this crazy last-second victory as the moment the Premier League title was well and truly won? I guess only time will tell.